Earlier, we told you that Cook County Sheriff Tom Dart has tested positive for the coronavirus. He's not sure where he contracted COVID-19. But for months, Dart's been trying to keep cases under control at the Cook County Jail. And as CBS News Adriana Diaz tells us, despite a recent uptick, he's had success.
This spring, more than 300 inmates had COVID at Chicago's Cook County Jail. And cases here and nationwide were climbing.
The first New York City inmate with COVID-19 has died.
450 federal inmates and 280 corrections staff members have tested positive.
More than 182,000 prisoners in the U.S. have tested positive for coronavirus since the pandemic began.
In Chicago, medical director Dr. Connie Manella had to keep them alive.
What was it like here at the height of the outbreak?
I've described it previously like war, and we were in this fog of war.
In the war against COVID here, she and Sheriff Tom Dart are the commanders. They've seen the virus ravage their ranks, taking 12 lives, 8 inmates and 4 staff.
There was no playbook. That was a killer. And so we were making things up as we went along.
The improvisation worked. As Chicago's curve sloped upward this spring, the jails fell off a cliff. When we visited in August, there were just 15 cases.
I read that you said we didn't just bend the curve.
Yeah, we exploded the curve.
How did you do that?
We made the determination at the outset we were going to be driven by science.
And they went all in. Universal mask wearing, temperature checks. 1,500 detainees were released early, due in part to pressure from inmate advocates, which helped reduce the population. And closed buildings were opened to spread the rest out.
You ready? Okay, go to here.
But these on-site rapid testing machines proved the most potent weapon. New inmates are all tested, and regardless of their test results, they're all quarantined.
That's been a huge part of our containment. If you're new, you get tested if you come back from a hospital, you get tested if you come back from other counties. Test, test, test. So we are doing a lot of testing.
Real-time testing allowed for real-time reaction, which jail officials believe saved lives. Inmate Santana Paz, here on a gun charge, tested positive at the height of the outbreak.
Are you nervous knowing that you're in this confined space with other people at a time of a pandemic?
It scares me a little, the amount of guys that's in there, only because if one guy gets sick, everybody else is going to get sick. We try to practice social distancing, but where I'm at, it's kind of hard.
There isn't this wild spread going on in the jail. No, this has been contained and under control for months.
But now as Chicago, like much of the country, is seeing huge spikes in COVID cases, cases in the jail have nearly tripled in the last 2 weeks. The jail's positivity rate is now about 4% compared to under 2% this summer.
We may have barbed wires, we may have brick walls. They are porous. What happens in the community greatly impacts the jail. We have COVID fatigue, and that has allowed this virus to take hold.
In this latest surge, the sheriff and the doctor worry they may not be able to keep the virus outside to protect their inmates inside.
Adriana Diaz, CBS News.
Earlier this month, Dart suspended in-person visitation at the jail because of the recent uptick in cases.